Alright, this is a 0.9 review of algebraic and numeric expressions. Okay, what I'm going to do is take you guys through a couple of these examples from the worksheet you're going to be working on. And mostly going to be working with the even numbers. Alright, for your assignment you are going to be completing the odd numbers. Alright, but I want you to copy down and take notes on, as I explain, how to go over these algebraic and numeric expressions. Okay, again, this is just review. You're going to be taking your second quiz and last quiz from this unit in a couple days. Alright, here's number 2. Alright, the first section tells you we have to evaluate each expression. Alright, so we're going to have to evaluate. Alright, which means we're going to simplify and solve this. Alright, and the first couple have to do with order of operations. Alright, PEMDAS or GEMDAS, whatever you want to use. If you want to use a G for grouping symbols rather than a P for parentheses, it's up to you. Alright, so the first one, we have to do parentheses first. Alright, so if I look at number 2, I have 3 plus 3 squared, and 3 plus 3 is in parentheses, so I have to do that first. 3 plus 3 is 6, and then I bring everything else down. Alright, now I'm all done in the parentheses because I just have one number. I'm going to move on to exponents, and I have exponents. Okay, so 6 squared, remember, is 6 times 6, which is 36. And I'm done. Okay, number 4, again, order of operations. Alright, and we're going to do parentheses first because we have parentheses right here. Okay, 16 plus 2, and we'll work inside the parentheses. Okay, 16 plus 2 is 18, and I'm going to bring everything else down, including my signs. Okay, next is exponents, and we don't have any exponents, so we're going to move on to multiplication and division. And remember, those go together just from left to right. Alright, all I see here is division. Okay, so I'm going to divide first. 18 divided by 3, and I get 6. Okay, now I can move on to my addition and subtraction. I just have addition. Okay, 5 plus 6 is 11. Alright, number 6, order of operations again. This one's just a little tricky. That's why it's third in the list. There is no parentheses. There are no exponents. Multiplication and division. Yeah, I have division right here, so I'm going to do that. Okay, 12 divided by 2 is 6, and I bring everything else down. Okay, now add and subtract. We have all addition, and addition is commutative, so we could do whatever we want first. We could do 6 plus 1, we could do 2 plus 6. But let's just work left to right. 2 plus 6 is 8. 8 plus 1 is 9. Okay. Moving on to number 10. Alright, parentheses first. Now here we have parentheses within parentheses within parentheses. Okay, and then if I look, here's my first set of parentheses right here. Here's my second set of parentheses inside, and then I have parentheses inside those, so I got to do this first. Okay, so negative 2 plus 1. Alright, remember, if they're different signs, meaning negative and positive, okay, we find a difference, which means we subtract the 2. So 2 minus 1 is 1, and then we take the sign of the bigger number, which is 2, so it's going to be negative 1. Okay, remember to bring everything else down. Okay, because this problem can get confusing if we don't. Alright, from there, we have another set of parentheses we have to work in. Oops, I forgot my 5. So we have negative 16 minus negative 1. And if you remember, when we have two negative signs next to each other, it's really just addition. Okay, it's a double negative, so it's plus. Alright, so we have negative 16 plus 1. Okay, two different signs, we find a difference, so 16 minus 1, and we take the sign of the bigger number. So 16 minus 1 is 15, and 16 is the bigger number, so we're going to take that sign, so it's negative 15. Bring everything else down. Alright, we're almost done with parentheses here. We have negative 15 times 2 inside the parentheses. Alright, negative 15 times 2 is negative 30. Remember, negative times a positive is a negative. Okay, and then bring everything else down. All set with parentheses finally. No exponents. Multiplication, division, yeah, there's division. Alright, negative divided by a positive is negative, and 30 divided by 5 is 6. So our final answer is negative 6. Last one I'm going to do with you in regards to the order of operations before we get into subbing in numbers. Okay, one long stretch of parentheses here. Okay, so we have to do order of operations within the parentheses. Okay, there are no extra parentheses, there's no exponents, but there is multiplication and division, and there's just multiplication here, so we have to do that first. 6. Alright, bring everything else down. Okay, no exponents. Alright, whoops, still working inside the parentheses. I'm moving ahead. Okay, there's no division, no multiplication left, so we move on to addition and subtraction. Okay, remember this goes left to right, so whatever occurs left to right, we could do subtraction first and then addition. It doesn't matter, we're just working left to right. So I'm going to do negative 11 minus 6 first. Same sign, combine the numbers, 11 plus 6, and then take the sign. Bring everything else down. Okay, now we have negative 17 minus negative 5. Alright, if you remember from the last problem, we're going to change that to a plus sign. This is the double negative. Negative 17 plus 5, different signs, find the difference. So 17 minus 5 is 12, and we're going to take the sign of the bigger number. Bring everything else down. Alright, still working left to right. And we're eventually going to get to negative 5 here. So we have negative 5 divided by negative 5. And we're finally off parentheses. We're on to division. Negative 5 divided by negative 5. Negative divided by negative is positive. 5 divided by 5 is 1. Right, number 14. We have to evaluate each using the values given. So we have this expression. Alright, we're going to plug in the values for each variable. Okay, so here we're working with P and Q. We're going to plug in negative 6 where we see a P and negative 3 where we see a Q. Okay. Alright, first step. Again, since everything is numeric now, we could use order of operations. Okay. The first thing I'm going to do is clean this up, though. Change that to a plus sign. Okay. Now, PEMDAS, we have to work inside the parentheses. Inside the parentheses, we have division, so let's do that first. Okay. Still in the parentheses. Negative 1 plus 6 is 5, and then negative 6 times 5 is 30. Alright, number 18. Okay, here we're going to sub in 1 for A, so 1's going to go in for every A, negative 6 is going to go in for B, and negative 4 is going to go in for C. So we have negative 3 divided by 3 times A, which is 1, plus c, which is negative 4, times b, which is negative 6, plus 5, minus negative 6 plus 1. Now we're going to parentheses around that. Okay, so we have a couple parentheses we're going to do first. Let's do them at the same time because they're not going to affect each other. Bring everything else down. Negative 6 plus 5 is negative 1. Negative 6 plus 1 is negative 5. Okay, still working in the parentheses. Right here we have multiplication. Negative 4 times negative 1. Okay, whenever there's not a sign in between parentheses, it's multiplication. So bring everything else down. 1 plus negative 4 times negative 1. Negative times a negative is positive, so I get positive 4. Okay. Still working in the parentheses. 1 plus 4 is 5. Alright, remember, still working in the parentheses. That's plus. We get 10. Okay. And then here's where you guys might make a mistake. You think multiplication before division, so we do that. But no, remember, we're working left to right, so we do this first. Negative 3 divided by 3 is negative 1, and then we multiply it by 10, so we get negative 10. Alright, number 20. Number 20, 22, 24, 26, and 28, we're just simplifying, which means, okay, we're going to do everything we can to deal with these variables so that we come out with a shorter product. So we're focusing here on combining like terms. And distributive property. Alright, for number 20, we have like terms here. We have 10n minus 4n. Alright, and since they both have an n for the variable, we can combine them. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the coefficients of the numbers in front, 10 minus 4, and we're going to bring n along with it. So 10 minus 4 is 6. So we get a simplified problem to 6n. Okay. Number 22, we have to distribute first. So we see a negative 10 times this. Okay, so we have to distribute before we combine like terms. Alright, negative 10 times negative 8x. Alright, I'm going to write it out. You don't have to. Negative 10 times positive 9. Okay, and then we have this negative 8x over here on the side. Okay, so let's do this. Negative 10 times 8x is negative 80x. Negative 10 times 9. Whoops, just saw my mistake. Bring down this negative sign. That'll be positive 80x. Good thing I caught that. Alright, negative 10 times positive 9 is negative 90. Okay, and then we bring down this negative 8x. Okay, since we're finished distributing, we're going to combine like terms. Here's my x's are going to go together, and this is by itself. So I could just write that in now because I don't have to combine it with anything. Alright, 80x minus 8x. 80x, positive 80x, and negative 8x. When we combine those, we get 72x. And then you're finished. You can't combine these, so you leave it as it is. Alright, view the second video to this. There's only about 3 problems left. Okay?